Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Real Sports Scope. I'm your host, Robert Butler, on this second day of October. Baseball playoffs in full throttle now. I know the Cubs look like they're selling, like they're in good shape right now. Got to ask the Mad New Yorker what happened to the New York Mets here. They were in first place at one time, I read back in June. Going to get his take on that. Jackson Dart will give our go over the top five biggest games in the NFL and a couple of college games, include Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt. Uh, that's going to be an interesting game for the fact that game day is there after the Vanderbilt Alabama game. So step by. Let's take our first on the break. Got a big action-packed show tonight, folks. We'll be back here shortly, and we'll hit the ground running here on the Real Sports Scope. Hello, Sports Scope followers. The program has seen tremendous growth since going 5 days a week. I just wanted to thank everybody for your cash contributions and sharing the program with friends and families. Just a reminder, if you want to contribute to the program, go to the Cash App, the cash sign, and Sports Scope. There are other ways to contribute to the program listed at the bottom of the screen. If you want to advertise on the program, go to sports, that is sports with an S, another S, scope, SKOPE, at gmail.com, just like it's listed at the bottom of the screen. Thank you and enjoy the program. All righty then, got to bring the Mad New Yorker here. A good crowd tonight. Hey, buddy, how you doing, man?
It's been crazy a few days. Glad for having me on. Happy Thursday. Happy Thursday. It's
Right.
first week of October, so let's get it. Let's do this.
I love October, man. It's my favorite month of the year. Okay. Like I said, in the intro there, Mets, I want to say middle of June, they were in first place, one of the best records in the league. Now they're not even in the playoffs. What happened, man?
Yeah, just a little bit of consistent inconsistency. So the pitching staff was uh just had its ups and downs. They couldn't turn over and get going there in a few stretches. Some of the games I went to, I've seen maybe 3 games where there was a few bad calls that ended up like affecting the game
Yeah.
just by like being there. It's just like, it's frustrating when you see it. But it happens to every team, like, and it's a long season. It's a marathon, not a sprint, and they just fell short because
Was it
they
injuries primarily, or is it just they're just not playing well?
well,
They just
I think it was a combination of both. I think it was like they knew they were getting injuries going in their pitching staff and the middle relief. They had a lot
yeah.
of changes and it was a little turbulent for the pitching staff this year, and as a group. But also, yeah, like, they were pressing, and um, they were trying to play well, but then it just didn't. What they wanted to do and what was on the field were two different things on a lot of the games. Even the last game they played, the home game they played against Philadelphia, it just didn't seem like they were in sync. It didn't seem um, like they were. It didn't seem like a team that had that much value as far as like what was on the field. So, that's not when they tried to like find a blame. I think the blame was fair. It's fair to say that the blame goes to everything about what the team was about this year. The players, management, and even like just having the bad calls on the field by a few games. Like they only missed the playoffs by 1 game, so it could have been any game where they had a bad throw. The defense didn't do
Okay.
well at the end, to hold off a lead. Like, it could have been anything, and it's just the fact that it was just 1 game. It just makes it even worse. So,
Yeah.
but it's baseball, man, and they
Yeah.
were competitive, and they made it as far as they did. And yeah, they're not right now. They're not in the dance, but not everybody gets to the dance, right? So, You know,
Yeah.
it's just
Yeah.
what it is, man. So
Yeah, well, I'm sure they'll have a good off season and they'll come back stronger next year. I asked Keith Engel this last night. What are your thoughts on you watch baseball? Didn't get a chance to watch it as much this year as I'd planned to. Who do you got in the World Series now that this thing has already started?
yeah, I've always said that I felt like the Yankees and the Mets were going to be in the playoffs, but I didn't think they was going to end up in the World Series match. And I don't. It's kind of it's. I don't want to. I think the Dodgers will probably be in the final rounds of playoffs,
Okay.
and then and I think the Yankees will probably make it one more round, but I don't. It's hard right now because the teams are they're all like on another level right now.
Yeah. A lot of
Um,
people are winning Seattle in the American League. Do you feel that way? I know they got a player that hit a 60 home runs, and the pitching seems to be coming into its own.
yeah,
Or the Riley or whatever his name is.
yeah. And that was one of my dark horses for
Yeah.
being in the World Series for Seattle. Um, and that's not a bad team to go with. Right now we're waiting on this final for the Boston New York game, so
Yeah. Yeah.
that's tonight. So
Yeah.
I'm not.
A lot of writers picked Boston in the preseason. Remember, I was telling you that a few months
Yeah, and
ago.
I was kind of surprised because I didn't see that team. It was like fairly a lot of young guys, and I didn't see that team in that way. And also, they were on a losing streak for a while there
Yeah, they would. Yeah.
in
I
the
didn't
middle of
know
the season.
that.
So, but I felt I like that they got competitive again. I like that they found themselves. I like the coaching staff. The pitching is doing well there. So, they made this whole this game here, that this
Yeah.
rivalry more interesting. So it's good. It's good for baseball, and
It is.
I hope that the Yankees come on top. But I don't, I can't sit here and be like, yeah, the Yankees gonna win tonight. I can't say that, and I just, I'm gonna watch it, and I'm gonna watch in between a few games that are going on tonight, and hoping that positive things happen for New York baseball, man, because
Yeah.
it's tough. It's a tough time right now for baseball fans in New York.
Yeah.
So.
So you don't have an idea who you think is going to be in the World Series.
No, I'll wait till next Thursday to give you that, because the thing is that I want this wild card to be over with. To be honest with you,
Okay.
just I don't
Yeah.
like the wild card. It's
Because
something.
Philadelphia hadn't played yet. Neither was Milwaukee, right?
Right. So I just kind of want to see where they're at. And I just want to see what's gonna happen. Just get this wild card out of the way, and just get
Yeah.
going. And so
Okay. Moving right along. Jackson Dart gets a start. Good win. I told you last week I was a little concerned about the Chargers. Seem to be falling apart. Same thing with 49ers. Both of those teams lose. Dart, uh, I think the ball made some pretty crazy decisions there going for it on fourth down. It didn't come back and bite him, but Dart's kind of feeling himself. You got a desperate coach. You got a desperate general manager. What's your thoughts, though? They did get the win. He did look pretty good. Showed some spark. Showed some athleticism. Jackson Dart era begins now. What's your thoughts, man?
yeah, I mean, they have to do something. The Giants had to do something, and I wouldn't have put him out there, but they put him out there. He had his performance. They got a win. It's one win. It's the guys here in the media and everybody's acting like it's a Super Bowl, just like when Buffalo wins a game. But that's
They have to
okay.
hang on to something up there, I would
Yeah,
imagine.
I mean, you gotta
Both
be,
teams are won a
yeah,
game
but
yet.
it's okay. It's okay. Like
Yeah.
I wrote an article about it. I was comparing the first start that that the quarterback from the Commanders got, comparing his
Jaden
2 years
Daniels.
ago, Jaden Daniels to Dart, and I
Yeah.
just what I will say this for the Giants, and I'm very glad that they won, and I'm glad that they were able to piece together a good game. But had their defense not scored those 2 points, or put them in a position to score 2 points, you know, this we'd be not talking about this win. And I'm not trying to take anything away from the win and what the Giants have done, but and what Jackson Dart is on the field, because we see that he has some upside, and there's no
Yeah,
doubt about that. But it's
yeah.
not, it's not to be reining him in and putting him, crowning him. So I think right, the Giants fans should be elated that the defense that we were hoping to see this whole season
Yes.
came to play. And it's not that they haven't played like this all season. It's that now that they score points, now that you have a positive game going, you see it, and it's felt in the score line. Like you so I think the game ball should go to the defense more than the fact that this young guy came out and he started his career, because
Yeah,
he's
13 for 20, 111 yards, one touchdown. The guy was sacked 5 times now.
right.
This Andrew Thomas, you don't never know when he's going to play. That's a pretty Brazilian move there for Dart. Of course, he ran 10 for 54 in that touchdown. He's a better athlete. He kind of reminds me of Wilson when he first got in, because Russell Wilson was a good athlete, not at 36,
Right.
but man,
Yeah, and
22, 23 years old, that really did help them out a lot.
again, I don't want to take nothing away from this guy's first game, and
Yeah,
like, the fan base being excited, and but I just like, I go into these things with a little bit of trepidation. I go in being realistic, and I go in knowing that this coach isn't he's not in the best situation, and neither is this GM. They haven't
right.
done a good job, and anything that they've touched in the last few years, and I don't feel like this is going to be the turning point. Like some people are like, oh, there's a turning point in every season, and then things just change. This, by all means, on paper or on the field, that's not a championship type of football team. And if
Well, they
if
play
they
the
could,
Saints this weekend. I mean, there's a chance this thing could build.
I mean, are you going to tell me that the Giants are going to win 7 games?
Well, I don't know. I do know that I forgot
Well,
what I picked for them.
yeah,
I don't know
no.
if it
So,
was 7 games. That might have been a little generous for the
right,
Giants.
so yeah, so like I don't think they'll win 7 games. I don't think they'll cap 7. I think they're going to be right at 6. And I said that's game 1, right? They're already in week 5, so they got a long way to go still. And just chill your jets. Enjoy the win. It is what it is, and but this is not like a trend to be saying, and to be that optimistic and naive to think this is a championship caliber team, right? So this is the
Right.
same thing when I mentioned the Green Bay Packers. Like, yeah, they're playing well. They have now the best defense because they added another person to it. But this is not a championship caliber team. I don't like, you're watching them play. I don't
Yeah,
think they're a
that's a good trend. I'm trying to see what I had Giants at. I had them finishing, I think, fourth, 7 and 10. I mean, yeah, yeah, that may be about right, but we'll see. I mean,
yeah.
they got to get healthy at some point. Of course, they lost Malik Neighbors in that game. That was a big blow to him. He's going to be out for the season with an ACL. But going what you just said, that's a good transition. I'm starting to get the sense that maybe Matt LaFleur, his personality is on. This is a very talented team. This is a well drafted team. Uh, they do not play well and I mentioned this to Keith last night. They seem to not play well as favorites, as front runners. We saw it with his teams going back to Aaron Rodgers losing at home to that
Mhm.
Tampa team. Uh, they were big favorites against Cleveland a few weeks ago. Lost that game. Big favorites. Well, a touchdown favorite on the road is pretty good for the NFL. Tied the Cowboys. I'm starting to get a sense this guy's soft and the team is soft under him. Uh, kind of reminds me of a Barry Switzer, Jimmy Johnson type of thing. Jimmy Johnson's the hard guy. This guy's more of a soft coach. You might be right about him, man. They might not be able to get over the top with him. What do you think about that analogy?
Yeah, and another thing is, if LaFleur hasn't been able to keep coaching staff around at Green Bay anyway. People been pickpocketing Green Bay for the last 4 or 5 seasons, and he hasn't been able to
Yeah, that's a
create
fair point.
a culture there that is sustainable, and the team isn't well balanced at all. Offensively, they've had some guys with upside, but then the injuries start piling up. And then you say you have an up and coming quarterback, but then he doesn't have the all the tools that he needs in play because of the injuries that's happened in the last two seasons with some of their their highly, highly type of wide receivers
It's all
and
after. Yeah.
right. So, but look, they have one guy I like, and one guy that they can build off of, that's going to be consistent no matter what, is Josh Jacobs. You got to give him the ball. You got to keep pounding it.
Yeah.
He's been consistent his whole career. He's at Green Bay and doing it consistently. The only thing is that now if your quarterback and your coach, are they going to feel like this is a guy that they can trust in? Like this, I feel like it's one of those whole uh Saquon things that the Giants had, where like he'll have a game where they give him the ball 20 times, and then he'll have a game where they give him the ball 12 times. Like you either give him 25 and keep giving him the ball, or don't take him off of that, because he is a top 5 running back. He's always been a top 5 running back, and he's been on terrible teams. And this is
With
a
the
this is
Raiders, yeah. Yeah.
this is an opportunity for him to showcase. Just give him the rock. Let him run the ball. Let him, yeah, he'll lose 1 or 2 yards. He'll get you third down, but then this guy, he can be explosive and he can catch. So you got to depend
They
on him.
love
He's got
an
to
inconsistent player. I would definitely shorten the offense, even though they've got some good tight ends and players.
right. Give
Um,
him a fullback. Make him. If you're paying him, use him. He's a top 5 running back. Don't be like, well, he's just going to be one of our weapons, which is something that LaFleur has done. Even when he was in Tennessee, he didn't take
yeah,
advantage of the
I
fact that
wasn't
they had a
impressed
running
with him
back
in Tennessee.
as a
But no,
coordinator.
they're out of my top 5 right now. Could they turn it around? Of course, it's very early. They've had some injuries, but not that many injuries. They should have smoked Dallas
Yeah,
Sunday night, and then they gave up 40 points with that defense.
that was just a very methodical game by the Dallas Cowboys to be able to be competitive, and found a way to get the kicker in the good position to get enough field goals to keep them in the game, and they stay competitive. Look, kudos to them. They did what they had to do. I thought they were going to win that game, and they end up tying. And that was just a situation that just worked out for both teams, to be honest with you, because
Yeah,
either
that's
team could
true.
have gone with that win. So
Right, right. Let's do a quick recap, Chief. Pittsburgh, Minnesota. I nailed the exact score. I was going to get the cut, but I've got it on my social media and everything, but I didn't get it here. 24-21. By the way, I'm up
nice.
3. I'm up 3. Nailed the exact score. Pittsburgh beats Minnesota. Our guy Carson Wentz got knocked around like a pinball in there with that offensive line, and he's got a slow delivery now. I don't know what his deal is.
Well,
Uh,
he's getting older.
Steelers,
Like
took, Steelers took advantage of it, and Rodgers played pretty well. What's your thoughts on that? I don't know how much you've seen of it or even looked at the box score.
yeah, no, it was an early game. It was in Europe.
Yeah,
It
Dublin.
was it was a game that I as well picked Pittsburgh, and I felt like that team played.
Oh,
They
you did
got they,
pick Pittsburgh. I thought you picked Minnesota.
no, I
No,
picked
you did
Pittsburgh.
pick Pittsburgh, didn't you?
Yeah, and I feel like Minnesota, again, they're a dome team and they play like it. So
Because
I
it
didn't
was an
feel like
open form. That's right.
yeah
You did.
yeah. And I was like, I don't feel like they was going to get buckle down and play this one hard. So, but it actually ended up being a better game for the Steelers, and it was good to see that. But, that's a good defense, man. Steelers put on a good defensive show, and it was good for them to get this win because now with Baltimore losing those games, they're in the hunt. So
Yeah, yeah, that was my whole take that Baltimore's losses, uh, plus their injuries. I mean, look at Cincinnati's injuries. Cleveland don't have a quarterback. Uh, that is actually a pretty good transition. Minnesota plays Cleveland this week. What's your thought about Cleveland? They're going with Dylan Gabriel. Went with him over Shador Sanders. I wasn't really surprised about it. Seemed to be the media's kind of making a little bit bigger deal of it than what it should be. What's your thoughts about that?
yeah, we heard this going into from spring into the from summer
Right,
into the
right
regular
after the
season.
draft. Yeah,
It wasn't anything that was gonna make Shador Sanders climb up to the second backup role. So, and I think that Cleveland is doing a good job because they're putting Gabriel out there, giving him an opportunity to be on the field, see what he has, and see if that's the guy that they want to keep. If that's the guy they want to groom, now they have a lot of options, and so they gotta they gotta put him on the field, like give him that opportunity. Um, they giving Jackson Dart an opportunity with the terrible O line. Might as
Yeah.
well give this kid. Now this guy I feel like is more of an athlete than Jackson Dart. I feel like this guy can. Uh, I hope that he plays better than his college career was, so that way it makes that
I don't
pick
know. That's kind of
worthwhile.
close. Dart had 54 yards rushing last week, man.
Yeah, but Gabriel's a
That's a
gamer,
lot.
and I want to see him do well for himself. I want to see this game be competitive, and not like that offense. That whole team is so good on paper. You just want to see something in return. You want to see some. I can't. I'm already a New York fan. I don't even want to know what it's like to be a Cleveland fan. To be honest with you, like.
Well, the Browns, they got the number one yards defense in the league. They're 31st in points scored.
Yeah, I mean,
They're one of
that's
the
what I'm
worst
saying.
offenses.
They're right there with the Giants. That's what I'm saying. So like,
Yeah, well, yeah, the Titans are 32nd.
yeah. So those teams I said was going to be 4 or 5 in the draft. So
Yeah, 1, 2, and 3 maybe.
yeah,
Yeah.
maybe.
So, what do you think about? Speaking of Cleveland, so Cleveland will go to London. Minnesota stays over from Dublin. Minnesota kind of got a raw deal here, but then again, maybe it gives them an advantage. They're staying in practically that European time zone, and they're going from Dublin to London, and now they're going to play. But they got a bunch of injuries too. They're still going to have what's his face there, Carson Wentz. They got Carson Wentz going against Cleveland. That storyline, with it being over there and the fact that Dylan Gabriel's playing against Carson Wentz, that really good defense against the banged up offensive line. But it's a rookie quarterback. Who do you like in that game? It's not going to be the most exciting game. It's more about the storyline than the game itself.
Well, I think the fact that they're playing in Europe actually will make this game a lot better for the fan base than the players themselves, like you mentioned. However, this is the thing. Like this is an opportunity for both teams to just get out of get past a little hump that they have right now in the fifth week of football and just go forward and make the changes you need to make and just try to do something progressive. They're both in divisions that they can catch up and be in the hunt
Mm.
to take the home field advantage in both their respective divisions. So because it's their divisions are so so just crazy. But you know I would like to see Cleveland make score, and they put in this guy in to maybe move the offense to maybe facilitate that offense and move it and get that scoring on you. Like I keep saying, 27 is a magic number nowadays. You got to score 27 points, and you got to keep the other team from scoring. And you can win a game. This whole 14-7, that those days they happen,
Yeah.
but those days
But I got a
are
feeling that's the way this game's going to go.
oh yeah, that's the score. What's your score then? I think this game's going to be
By the way,
21-14.
remind me when we do the rest of the pick'ems to say the scores again for
Yeah.
this particular game so I can cut it right for editing purposes because people like to hear our picks, our five. I get a lot of views on that. That's a little side programming note here.
Nice.
Dude, I got this like an old school game, man. 13-6. I got Vikings, Brian Flores defense getting to Gabriel, but this could go 13-6 the other way. I got Vikings 13-6 because they stayed over and they're used to that time zone. Who do you got in that game?
I think I want to see Dylan Gabriel do well. I'm gonna go crazy. I'm gonna go like first game, have like a Jaden Daniels Jackson Dart game and 21-14.
Like Browns?
Yeah, Cleveland Browns.
That'd be
Let's go.
nice. I'd like to see the Browns win this game. Trust
Yeah,
me.
yeah, let's go
And you're a
dogs. Let's
big
go
Vikings
dogs.
guy. I'm surprised you went there, but
Well, I mean, I need to see something out of this guy. They picked him and they picked him
third
above
round,
Shador.
yeah.
He was in the running for um the award for one of the
Heisman.
best. for the Heisman. Like, I want to see. I like to see these guys who are Heisman winners kind of try to keep it going, keep the momentum going in the NFL, and it's very rare and seldom. And so like when you see a guy like Baker Mayfield, when you see some of these guys going out there and doing these things, you're like, all right, good, because that's what we want to see. Like we saw you in college, but we want to see. We don't want to see what happened to Johnny Manziel. We don't want to see we don't want to see those things happen to players who are,
Oh, I hate that. Yeah.
like we want to see positivity. We want to see growth. We want to see competitiveness, right?
I
So
want to
that's
see them all become stars. I'm not a hater like that. Let's
right.
get back to the recap. I got off track a little bit. Let's get the car back on the road. Philadelphia, Tampa. You picked Tampa. I picked Philly. I had a feel. I had a gut feeling that maybe Tampa was going to come back and win that game. I thought the Eagles were hanging on by threads, but they pulled it off.
They pulled it off, man.
Great game though. Great game. What's your thoughts on that game?
Yeah, awesome game. I just hoping that Tampa Bay just went in and just did a little. They had they scored a couple more touchdowns, this game would have been. But Eagles did a great job coming back. They did what they had to do. They're still not. They still need that toughness. I feel like we talked about it, that they're missing that little edginess. And this game, I think, gave them a little bit of more grit because it played a competitive team. But
Yeah.
I hope to see that Philadelphia team like carry on and move on with this after this win and just become like the team that they can be, right? The big team, like nobody wants to play them, and right now, we get to see what's going to happen this next week. And Tampa Bay, they played a great game, and I felt like it was for Tampa to lose, and they did. Tampa did lose this, and but the Eagles didn't make plays, so defensively,
defense made some great plays at
yeah,
the end. They're well coached.
yeah.
Jacksonville, San Francisco, we both nailed that game. I want to say that a lot of the national guys picked Frisco. We both picked Jacksonville on the road, get the win. What's your thoughts about that game?
Yeah, it was just one of those games that I feel like I was telling you about that Jacksonville just need to get right. They need to get going. They got this quarterback that everybody's talking about, and he needs to get on the same on some kind of page where he's being more consistent. And this was a perfect game for him because San Francisco's hurting, and they've coming back from a lot of changes from last season, and they don't have a team yet that's uber competitive as far as like having these big days. And this was an opportunity, and they took advantage. Jacksonville took advantage of this opportunity, and but credit to San Francisco, they made it a game. They won.
They're a tough group of guys, man.
Yeah, they made it a game. So
yeah, it just didn't work out. Indianapolis Rams, Colts showed a lot more fight than I thought they would, but Rams come up big. Really looked like that team defensively. How about Puka Nacua? Some of the best stats in the NFL between him and Matt Stafford. I think they're the best wide receiver quarterback combo in the league. What's your thoughts about that game?
let me say something here, and I'm one of these doubters of the quarterback over the age of 30. But Matt Stafford of all QBs, this guy, and I'm gonna knock on wood here, so because he not injured, he's throwing the ball on
He's
targets.
rebounded from that back injury quite well.
He's making good reads. He's keeping the teams in the game. He's being the back that everybody
like them
likes
tonight, by the way. They played the Niners, by the way. This don't count for nothing. I like them against the Niners tonight. Niners are pretty banged up.
Yeah, they're definitely going to win against the Niners. But this is
same here.
Look, and even with this team with him, leading and being the quarterback that he is, this defense is a lot more talented than they look on paper. They're a lot faster on the field than I thought they would be, and they do their job. They're doing a good solid job. So and even though they've been stopping a lot of running games, don't get me wrong. It's not that I didn't I wasn't trusting it. I wasn't seeing that. I wasn't thinking that was going to be consistent, and they're proving me wrong every single week. So I like that. I don't mind if I'm proved wrong, but just don't prove me wrong, but then stay consistent, right? Don't win. Right. And then say, "Oh, you was wrong," and then just lose again. I think this team is going to be in the top 5, and this team is heading in the right direction. So, again, knock on wood, let the injuries low and do what you got to do. And man, what a duel!
Yeah,
You hit it
yeah. I
right
think
in.
they're my Power Five. Baltimore, Kansas City. I told you I thought Kansas City would win that game. Didn't expect Baltimore to fall. This seems like one of those years where the injuries are just going to get the best of Baltimore. What's your thoughts about that game? I think Kansas City's on the rise again. Baltimore, Kansas City last week. That was one
Yeah.
we had a different opinion on.
Oh no, I mean, yeah, I thought that can't the Baltimore go in there and be like, you know what, we didn't do well to close the game last week, and they came in there. They did start the game running, and their defense was on top, but it switched quick. You do a couple plays here and there, and that game, it was a good game. It was terrible for Ravens fans to watch, but like give it up for Kansas City for surpassing, not meeting Baltimore at what level they're at, but surpassing it and making the changes that they need to make. The wide receivers, they were Mahomes was more. He threw the ball more to different receivers. It wasn't just like throwing it to Kelsey. He did a little. Pacheco ran a little bit better. Like so. It wasn't just one of those things. Just throw the ball to Kelsey and get out of trouble. It was a team effort. The defense did very well, played very well, and that was a good win for Kansas City in a bad loss for Baltimore, because it's like they're showing the rest of the NFL that there's a chink in that armor, and that's no bueno for when you get later in towards the playoffs.
Yeah, yeah. And man, I tell you that was NFL. Was 5-0 in the NFL picks. 0-3 in college. Man, you know what? You never know what you're gonna get out of it. College football is like a box of chocolates, man. When you think you got it, you just don't know what you're gonna get. Like Forrest Gump said. Ole Miss at home beats LSU with this unknown transfer quarterback.
Hmm.
But like I told you before the series, when we started talking about it last week, that the home team seems to win these games with LSU and Ole Miss, turn it into a rival there. What's your thoughts about that game, man?
I was hoping that maybe I could find a bottle to find and pour something to drink, but I haven't bought anything in a while, and then I just was like, okay, let me find a big bag of chips to just eat, and I don't
Yeah,
have that either. So I was like, I was just very depressed and down. I was thinking, come on LSU, like they're supposed to be in the top 20 of these teams, and that they didn't, like, just certain things during
top
the
five.
game. It was crazy. A good game. My pick didn't come through, but it's just what it is, and it was a good game to watch. So
It's a typical Saturday in the SEC. Sometimes you get the crowd behind you, and one thing leads to another, and before you know it, plays are being made. I've talked to a lot of young men down here, high school players, good players, and two quarterbacks. They both want to play for the guy. You know,
Right. Yeah.
he's gotten better over the years. He was a little mature. Got a lot of jobs at a young age, probably that he shouldn't have got because of his dad. But he's took his falls. He's been fired. He's been moved. He's had his fallouts. He's been chewed out publicly by Nick Saban, and he's really turned out to be a pretty good coach here. You know, and they've got the players behind them. Also, man, Alabama. Just when you want to put a stake in Alabama and say they're done, I just don't understand what Kirby Smart. He's almost like Ohio State and Michigan at this point. What is he like? 1-5 or 1-6 against Alabama?
Yeah,
Uh,
he doesn't do well
Crazy,
against Alabama.
man. I didn't see that coming. Although I will say this, Ty Simpson's turned out to be a pretty good quarterback. He may be a sleeper in a draft next year. The quarterback, pretty impressive road win, putting it mildly. Alabama over Georgia. What's your thoughts, man?
Like, why did Kirby Smart play this as a close game? Why did he not spread the field out? Why did he not push his team around to the limit offensively? Like, why? He literally, they kept Alabama in the game. They just did not do their due diligence. They did not shift or make any adjustments. It was like, and this is something that a Kirby Smart team usually they're good at making adjustments, making the changes that needs to be changed, and then coming in the second half and overpowering a team. That I didn't see any of that, and it was like it was just a back and forth type of deal, like a ping pong game, and that's not a game that Georgia can win at. They need to not they need to take this film. They need to rewatch it and say this: we cannot ping pong a game ever again. We're gonna beat
Well,
Georgia.
that
We're gonna.
Stockton kid is just not that talented. He's
It's
not
not
as
a.
talented as the last two quarterbacks.
Yeah,
You know?
I know I know what you're saying, Robert, but it's not even about talent. It's about opportunities and take advantage of your opportunity. That talent he can hide a little bit behind, but um, and
Lack thereof it for him.
yeah, I just man, it was hard to watch because I was like, and I usually I usually pick Alabama. And I was like, man, why didn't in my head I was like, why didn't I just pick Alabama? But
It's hard to
again,
pick them where they played against Florida State. They were so
listen,
out of sorts in that Florida State game. I know they beat Wisconsin, but Wisconsin's not good at all. And that was a big confidence builder, man.
yeah,
That
it was a
was a
good game.
really good one. Man, I've been dying to ask you about this. Is one you got right on me. So you picked Oregon. I picked Penn State. Oregon, about two series into that game, I was like, okay, they're the better team. They're the better quarterback. They seem to be better against the run. Although Penn State was coming off of a bye week and all that, they just look better coached. That being said, I talked about this last night with Keith Engle. Penn State comes back late, scores a touchdown, gets a stop, scores another touchdown. I don't know how much I watched all that game, by the way. Scores another touchdown. It's 30 seconds to go. I'm hollering at the TV. Okay, probably should go for two. You got them on the ropes. If I'm James Franklin, I'm being realistic with myself. I'm being a realist with myself, and I'm saying to myself, okay, they got the better quarterback. The farther this goes on, the more it's going to go towards them. Let's go ahead and try to win this thing now. Go for two, and maybe get a stop here and keep them out of field goal range and win the game. They got the better team. Instead, he kicks the field goal. We know what happened. Do you think he should have went for two? Do you remember? You know what I'm talking about, right at the very end.
Again, this is one of those things where they should have went for two, but again, the kick is a better option at the end of the game than
Oh, it's a
going for two.
bold call to go for two.
Yeah, because
110,000 people may be throwing stuff at you if you get it wrong.
yeah. So he did. I feel like the safest call for his team because the other team could go for two and has a better.
No, well, this was 30 seconds in regulation.
Yeah, no, I'm saying like if I was coaching him and I'm looking at the other side, the team I'm playing has a better chance of going for two and likely making it. But
So
then
you would have probably kicked the one at the end of
right,
the game.
but I believe in my defense, right? So
Yeah, okay. I hear you.
right.
I hear you.
So yeah, this is another man. This game I was sweating bullets, man. I was just like, oh, I'm gonna lose this game too, and it went back and forth, and I was like, okay, this is not gonna end well. This is the same feeling I have for the Green Bay Dallas game. It's like, oh, this ain't gonna end well, and
Yeah.
and it just kept going and finally went into overtime, and I'm like, just somebody just end it already, and it just so happened to be Oregon got lucky, in
Yeah.
a sense where there was a couple, I wouldn't say missed calls, but a couple calls that maybe should have been different, and no, Oregon won. And this was you said Penn State was a home field that had the whiteout that was so loud that you
They're
could
off the
hear.
bye week. Everything was going their way.
Yeah, and I was just like, Oregon and the way the coaches, they have a way of going into places and not making that their energy. They
Yeah.
use a way energy and they build their team up. And I'm not sure if that's part of their culture. I'm not sure if that's like a mental thing. I'm not sure what it is, but if there's any team that can do it, it's a team like Oregon. And
Yeah.
kudos to them. Kudos to Penn State. They did a great job. This game was great. If you didn't get a chance to see it, if you get a chance to rewatch it, watch it. It was back and forth. And the kicker at the end, balls of steel. He kicked it, and that was it. That's all he had to do. So
Yeah, I tell you, man, that James Franklin, I think like 4-21 in these type of games. Um, can't. I mean,
but you
will he ever
can't.
get over the top?
Yeah, here's the problem with Franklin. Like I think he's a lot into the numbers. Like, and like you said, just go for the two, and that's not. He's very methodical, man. He's very pen and paper guy, and he's not gonna. He's gonna try to win the game in the best way he feels his team can, and you know, this one time he just couldn't come through.
Yeah, yeah. It was a good pick though by you, man. I think Oregon's got a really good shot to play for potentially a national championship with this Dante Moore there at quarterback. I mean, he may be a sleeper at Heisman. He's a guy for us to keep an eye on for future references. Okay, now, folks, we're going to the top 5 NFL games and 2 really good college football games. So let's do what we just said earlier for editing purposes. So I played the clip earlier. You said 21-14 in from Minnesota, Cleveland.
Yeah,
You think Cleveland wins? Gabriel gets the win, right?
yeah,
In London.
and London, yeah.
I said 13-6. Minnesota gets a sloppy win over Cleveland in London. A game I probably wouldn't want to watch if you paid me, not unless you had to pay me some good money. I can use the money, but maybe you'd have to pay me to watch it. I'll be watching a box score though, just to see if we got that right.
You had to
Okay.
you would have to get up at like 7:30 to watch that, bro.
Yeah, it's what's 8 something, you
Yeah.
know. And so, anyways, all right. Let's start off with how about Houston, Baltimore? Two
Mm.
teams, both won the division last year, both reeling. Baltimore, really, I think more than Houston. Baltimore, Cal Hamilton hasn't practiced today. Lamar Jackson's doubtful, by the way. I don't think Lamar's going to play. He's got a hamstring injury. So now you've got one of your favorite guys in here. What's his name? Cooper Rush is going to get the start. Roquan Smith likely not going to play either. I mean, the teeth of the defense there, your main player on offense there. Meanwhile, Houston seems to be getting healthy, coming off of a 24-0 beat down of Tennessee. That's a whole different story. How bad Tennessee's playing. Baltimore has beat the crap out of C.J. Stroud for years. I think he's
Yes.
like 0-3 against Baltimore. All losses, pretty much blowouts. They're going to get some. This is going to be in Baltimore. I think they get revenge. The spread was like 8 or 9 points for Baltimore. Now it's like -1 in favor of Houston. I think that's correct. Not will be the greatest game in the world, but 2010, Houston goes up there and beats Baltimore, and they stay alive. Baltimore falls farther back.
Mm. Baltimore's at home. Baltimore has to win games at home. They have to. It doesn't matter who they're playing, but it's the thing of like you get your fan base going. It's gonna be tough. It's gonna be a tough game, but I think this game is gonna be like 24-21. I think Baltimore's gonna win on a field goal. I
Wow,
think
so you're
I,
going to believe in Cooper Rush to get it done.
I'm gonna believe in their kicking game and Cooper Rush, and I'm definitely gonna believe in that Baltimore defense that needs to show up. They need to show up and show out. And if they don't, they can start kissing their playoff opportunities goodbye because they can't be losing, and they can't lose to a team like Texas. Now, I'm not saying that Texas is a terrible team. They're gonna give them. They're gonna compete with them on this game on Sunday. It's a one
Yeah.
o'clock game too, so this benefits both teams. They can go at it early and get home and relax, get along, get
and
a
the, and
long break.
the players love that. You
Right, right,
listen
right.
more. They love to play early. They don't really like these primetime games. Um,
But I feel
okay,
like
Denver.
Baltimore.
You like Baltimore? I
Yeah.
like Houston. I'm not going to talk you out of it because I want to still have the edge here because I think we might get that Cleveland game. Denver, listen, Denver, big win last week, shut out this week. They didn't shut them out, but they might as well shut them out. Beat the crap out of Cincinnati. They look to be relatively healthy against the Eagles. Eagles are 4.5-point favorites at underdog or favorites at home. Listen, if this were in Denver, maybe I'd give Denver a better shot here. But I think the Eagles are going to go a quiet 5-0. I
Ooh.
think they're going to get to Bo Nix there 24-16. The Eagles win in Al Michaels' voice. What do you think about that game? Is it played in Philadelphia?
Yeah, again, another afternoon game. One of these games that they don't have to play at night. Both teams. And I feel like this one, I think the Eagles might lose. And I only say that because they're going in confident, but you can't just go in confident. You have to play hard, and they just played a tough game with Tampa Bay. So
Yeah.
um, I'm not sure if they have enough rest, and I'm not sure if they're mentally like prepared to go in and be like, we've seen in the past that when the Eagles go up to somewhere and have a tough game, the next game they kind of slack and try to get back at the same level, and it's harder for them. Not that it's and again, Tampa Bay played them hard, so I feel
Yeah.
like this might, even though they're at home, I think the edges for the Broncos, because the Broncos are hype, man. They beat they beat up on the Cincinnati that they knew that they had an opportunity to win, and
Wow. And they're on a
they
short week, too. You still want to take Denver on a short
yeah,
week
and
on the road.
that's another thing. They didn't have to put that much effort to play in Cincinnati. They just had to win that game, and so now they're hype and they have a different confidence than Eagles who had to struggle to play the Bucks. So I feel like this game is going to go to the Broncos. It's going to be about 32-27, and the Broncos will win. And you're going to see this
You're
guy.
calling for a wild one, huh?
Yeah, I think you're gonna see Bo Nix. He might throw an interception for a touchdown, give away a touchdown, but I think he's gonna come back and win the game for these
Okay.
Broncos.
Okay. They got a good defense. Maybe they turn over Philadelphia. You just never know. Okay, moving right along. Almost forgot about Kansas City, Jacksonville. Two teams on the come up here. They got off
Mhm.
to Kansas City got off a rough start. They won two straight. Jacksonville, big road win. But Jacksonville, everybody plays San Francisco. They just when you play San Francisco, it's just a brawl, man. I mean, you got some guys that are banged up for Jacksonville, both all line and D line. This is going to be a Monday night game. Jacksonville can really use the extra day off. But
Yes.
I like the way Kansas City's playing. Pretty healthy, healthiest they've been in a while. I like the way they played last week. Love me some Traquan Thornton. That's another guy had a great game last few weeks. Yeah, pretty decent game um, against the Ravens there with Xavier Worthy in his first game back after his injury. So I still like Kansas City. Get the road win. Played
Mhm.
really well, better than people think. 30-20. Get the road
Okay.
win at Jacksonville. They're going to be primetime players. What's your thoughts about that one? This is going to be a Monday night game.
Yeah, I think that Jacksonville's gonna come out and play hard, but they only beat up on teams that were hurting anyways. They beat up on the Panthers. They beat up on the Bengals. They
49ers.
play.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, the
49ers, yeah.
49ers, and then they played Texans, right? So they beat up on those guys. So they haven't played anybody really an upper echelon of the
For the
NFL.
league, yeah.
And then Kansas City's going to come in and they're finally got a win against the Ravens. I feel like this game is going to be like a slow, methodical, old type of Andy Reid game because it's a Monday night too. Um, Now the Jaguars are going to be in it, but they're not. I don't. I think at the end, I think it's going to be 24-21, something like that. Like I don't see
Chiefs,
that Chiefs. Yeah, Chiefs will
okay.
win. Yeah, I don't. I think it'll be just another kick, like win by a kick. I don't. They're gonna both make mistakes. They're gonna oppress because they both want to win, and But I think Kansas City has a better opportunity of winning because Um, they have more depth and they have more experience, so
Yeah.
they're gonna win this game.
Yeah, I meant to send you this one earlier, but I did send it to you late. I think this next game will be the best game of the week, honestly.
The
Uh,
Saints and the Giants? No, just kidding.
yeah, I know. Maybe for you. No, Tampa and Seattle.
Yeah.
You got two players that were rolled off. They were drafted in 2018. Both of these players were were not are not playing on the teams that are drafted them. Both of them were saw pretty much as bust, especially Sam Darnold, and both of them are playing really well right now.
Mm.
It's a great win. Seattle has a little bit more rest. Remember, they played last Thursday. They beat Arizona there, and of course Tampa comes off that tough loss against Philadelphia. All week I was wanting to say maybe I'm going to take Tampa. Maybe I'm going to take Tampa, but Seattle's pretty tough, man. And yeah, Tampa's getting a little bit more healthier. They still won't have Mike Evans this week. They're not going to have Bucky Irvin. They're going to have what's this guy, Rashad
Mm.
White here at running back. I think it'll be a dogfight, though, man.
Mm.
It's a 3-point spread, and that's about what I think it'll be. Seattle, 23-20 last minute field goal. This is going to be a good one. Uh,
Ooh.
Seattle gets the win, but I wouldn't be surprised if it didn't go the other way. A lot of respect for Tampa. They got in my top 5 this week. What's your thoughts about Seattle? Seattle may get in if they win this game. Um, Seattle hosting the Tampa Bay Bucks.
Yeah, hosting, they got the 11 over there, and that stadium's always
12th man.
rocking.
Yeah, that's
You know,
another thing. If this were in Tampa, I'd go the other way.
this is gonna be a tough game for both teams. Oh man. This is probably gonna be the closest we're gonna see a playoff type of game in a long time.
Yeah,
Two
same
teams that
here.
are
Yeah.
they're both 3-1. They're both excited with the quarterbacks playing well on both teams. Like you said, these quarterbacks have been written off, and now they're coming back and they're making moves with their offenses that are lacking. Both teams are lacking players right now on the offensive side because of injuries. But
Yeah.
I think the thing that's going to matter the most is defense in this game for both teams. Um, and I think it's gonna be a low. I think this one's gonna be like 27-24, and I think that this one's gonna be also near a field goal kick. This one's gonna be Seattle winning at home because of the 11.
Yeah.
Man, it gets loud there. You know what it is? It's like and look, Baker's played in all kinds of atmospheres. I don't think it'll affect him more than it'll affect the people that don't usually get the ball all the time,
Yeah.
because So I think that if they can find a way to maneuver the noise and get focused and get the calls in and they can adjust to that, Tampa Bay will win this game. But it's Seattle. It's plus you might get some rain. You're gonna get wind.
Yeah.
So this is gonna be a funky place to play. So this ain't Tampa,
Yeah.
and I give it to Seattle. Seattle won 27-24.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. I went with a tight game too. You went with a tight game. Both picked Seattle here. Let's go to the college game. Florida State, man. Listen, I can't tell you how many times I've seen big time teams, high ranking teams, go on the
Uh,
road in
uh,
a short week, a Thursday, a Friday game, and get beat the way that Florida State got beat. And that one got past me. You sent me that text. I'm like, what? They lost to Virginia? Man. But they're still a good team. We saw what they did against Alabama. They played a few cupcakes after that, and they got caught looking ahead. Gus Malzahn is their offensive coordinator. Not so sure about this Castellano guy. Meanwhile, Miami, very sharp team. Hadn't made that many mistakes this year. Big wins over Notre Dame. It's a 4.5 point spread. I think this will be a fun, exciting Saturday night game. 31-20. It's been a game of streaks, though.
mm,
One or two here, then one or two there, then one or two here.
yeah.
25, 30 years ago, this would have been the game of the week. Game day would have been there. But it's still turning into a rival game. And again, only way Florida State wins if Carson Beck turns the ball over, which he could. We've known him to do that. A few pick sixes. But I like Miami on the road 31-24 to get the win over Florida State. But this one could go the other way because it is at FSU. What's your thoughts on that game, man?
Yeah, I got Miami winning this game. I think that Florida is to get Florida State's got a brain check, a attitude check, and that whole Virginia game. I think it's going to affect some guys more than others, maybe on the offensive side as well.
Okay.
But Miami's coming in, and they've had a few have already had big games, so I feel like they come already with a little bit more experience and they're gonna be they're a little bit faster too. So I think that they're gonna take this game from Florida State, and I had this game at 59 points. That's gonna be
Okay.
that's going to be like put up. And let me. I'm trying to remember what I put down for my pick on, but it's at 59. So I got him at 34. No, 30. Like 36 to 24, something like that.
Okay. I had 31-24. You had 36
Yeah.
24. We
Okay.
both had the Hurricanes. Okay, so game day did not go to Florida State. They're not going to Florida State on Saturday. They're going to Tuscaloosa, Alabama, because Vanderbilt, this is the best Vanderbilt through 4 games I've ever seen. Solid running game. Got a quarterback's probably 25 years old, played 100 years. Really strong arm. Man, I'm still impressed the way they ran the ball on Virginia Tech and the way they ran the ball at. Remember, they were 13th ranked team at South Carolina. I know their quarterback was out, but that defense still played. Man, I really like Vanderbilt the way they're playing this year. They're 10.5 point underdogs. This is crazy. I'm going to take Vanderbilt and the points, but I do think Ty Simpson playing really well for Alabama. Could be a sleeper in the NFL draft coming up next year. His stats are looking great. This will be another good game for him to showcase his talents. This is in Alabama. 31-27. Alabama last minute drive gets the win. But don't be surprised if it goes the other way and Vanderbilt does the same thing next year, just after Alabama had an emotional win against Georgia last year. And we saw what happened. Goalposts came down here in Nashville. What do you think about this Vanderbilt Alabama getting a lot of hype, man? Both teams ranked.
Yeah, I mean, every time Vanderbilt has a good season, there's always they always play one team that brings them back down to reality. Uh, I don't want to root against Vanderbilt because I like what they're doing. Like you said, you talked about it, but I just this guy needs his job at Alabama. He needs it. He needs wins. He needs to stay in the top 25 for their school to keep getting money and recruits. And they can't lose this game. I mean, they could, but they
I think it's
shouldn't.
going to come down to the last drive, man. I mean,
It
it's going to
is.
be
It is. But
dramatic, dude.
it is. And but I'm not gonna. I'm not. I'm not going to root against. I'm not gonna pick against Alabama again. Um, with a team like Vanderbilt. So I think like you said, I think it's gonna be close. So I'm going 30 to 27, something like that.
Okay. Okay. I picked 31-27. You're picking 30. You're picking within one
Yeah,
score.
yeah.
Uh,
Like it could be a 2 point conversion. It could end up
wow.
being
It could be something
something.
crazy. It could
Yeah,
be tight like the
yeah.
Oregon and
Good
whatchamacallit.
call. Yeah, you're gonna see everybody be hyped, and then it's gonna be one of those games that's gonna be ping pong and back and forth. It's not gonna be where everybody settle down. Let's be methodical. Let's build this game up. No, it's gonna be Alabama reaching and a Vanderbilt hoping. So yeah,
Yeah.
you gotta see a ping pong game, bro.
Right, right. I didn't give you that Texas game. They do play Florida. Both teams, I mean, Florida's having an awful year. I will say this, though, and this won't count against us, but this is that game. I got to thinking about it while we were doing the program. And, if Texas loses this game, how much blame does Arch Manning get? And if Florida loses this game, how many more strikes is it against um, that head coach down there? For them wanting to do away with him.
Yeah, this is the first time Florida's out of the top 20 in like 5 years or something like that. Five,
Oh,
six
really?
years.
Yeah. I mean,
Like in a long time.
yeah.
Um, and Arch Manning, like
Do you
I
think
just
Florida's going to beat them? And then if they do, it's going to come down on Arch,
yeah, I mean,
not unless he gets hurt at the beginning of the game or something.
I don't feel like this Florida team has enough
Yeah.
to beat. It's not Arch Manning. I think offensively they're going to get their 20 points, 21
Yeah.
points. I think Arch Manning will get them there. It's the defenses, and I feel like the Florida defense is not where it used to be.
Yeah.
You
Although
know,
really good, it's just, man, not quite to that level.
right. It's
Yeah.
that they don't have an edge. They don't have that toughness, right? They're good. They're speedy. They're just not, they're not as rigid as they usually are, and I feel like that's what's missing from them, and that's what's gonna, if anything, like you said, Arch Manning gonna give this game away, and it's more or less like that defense of Texas giving too many points away, right?
Yeah, I mean it's in Gainesville. I mean, like I said, Florida's pretty. They're pretty disappointed, and Texas already lost their one game, and that's why I didn't put it as a great game. But I thought, yeah, it's something to talk about because of we had some extra time here, and it feels like lose.
The Arch
If
Manning needs to
Texas
do. He needs
loses,
to do
it's
something
Archie.
though.
If Florida loses, it's on the coach. Man, I tell you what, it would be good if Arch plays well and wins.
Right.
And it's a highly competitive game, and Lagway plays well. That's what you would, 4 months ago, I thought this would be a huge game. This would have been one of our leads. But right now, even though both teams lose and they have losses on their resume, and Arch just looks pretty mediocre right now. So it'd be a nice bounce back game for him to do that on the road. Anything else you need to plug, man?
Ari, I'm trying to get a show together once this game is out for tomorrow. We'll see where New York baseball is. I'm not in good spirits about what's happened on both teams. And then we'll go from there, man. It's I did kind of say that they was going to both be in the playoffs, but that didn't happen, and that's not good. That's not good for New York baseball, and I mean that in a sense for us folks who have, we have season ticket holders. It's tough because you want to be there, and you, it's a high dollar ticket price, bro. High dollar ticket price.
Yeah.
You know how it is.
Yeah.
You know how it is in New York. So, but yeah, like
0-0. I see you peeking it. It's 0-0, bottom of the third. That's going to be a pretty. I'm gonna stay up as long as I can. I'm pretty tired.
Hey, that's gonna be a good game, man. If you could watch that
Yeah.
put that in. You put your playing football. I got 4 screens going on right now, and it's like crazy. I'm watching a little bit of college football too. I'm not gonna lie. I'm sneaking in
Who's
there.
playing in college tonight?
I haven't put my screens in yet because I've been on the show.
But, gotcha, man.
I will put some kind of game up. The Thursday game today is what is the Thursday game today? That's a good question, bro.
Yeah, I don't think it's a huge game.
No, it's not a huge. It's not a big game.
Nobody highly ranked. I would have caught on to that. I know the Rams are playing the 49ers. That's usually just a brawl, like all those NFC West games. So, Mad New Yorker on a big week here.
This is my holiday week.
Alabama, Vanderbilt's going to be it's going to be a barn burner. Florida State.
Let's go UT. We didn't talk about UT, but let's go.
Yeah. I don't know who Tennessee must be off this week, ain't they?
No, I think they play in.
We could look that up real quick. We could look that up.
They beat up Mississippi State, which is good.
Yeah,
good for them.
Yeah,
I think they are off this week. They do have a bye.
Yeah, I want to say October 11th is next week. They play Arkansas. I may bring Jason Patterson back on the program. They owe Arkansas a favor because Arkansas beat them last year. So, Mad New Yorker again. All right, everybody. Have a good night, everybody. I'll see you next week. We'll get on this same time, same place here on the Real Sports Scope. And again, if you like the show, please share the show.